I'm gonna try clipping this to me today. We're gonna see how clipping this goes. Cause sometimes I get tired of holding it. And then like you have your fingers like floating out, and then I'm like, oh, pinky up. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is gonna be a January reading wrap up for myself. I'm gonna format it a little bit differently than I used to do reading wrap ups. I kind of stopped doing them because I felt like I was reading more in order to have more books to talk about every month. So I stopped doing those at some point last year, and it felt really nice. It felt really nice. So for today's reading wrap up, we are going to talk about the books I read in January. DNFs will be saved for my quarterly wrap ups. I don't feel like talking about my DNFs. So let's start with, I'm going to reference my Fable while we're here. I did do my reread of The Midnight Library. Loved it. I loved it even more than I loved it before. It's one of those books that's going to be a yearly reread. And I think I'm going to keep it to being a like beginning of the year reread, like trying to read it in January every year. It's such a beautiful story. It's so impactful. Like I carry that story with me all the time. And it's crazy because when I first read it, I didn't even love it. I thought it was good and I liked it. I haven't been able to shake it since then. So I'm really happy that I reread that. It was a fantastic start to the year. And I think it healed a little bit of me that was kind of like feeling a little bit broken after the end of 2025. I don't know why. I was very disappointed in myself, and maybe not to the same degree Nora was disappointed with her life, but I did start to feel a little down. And then reading The Midnight Library, it's not like it cured me or healed me altogether, but it just reminded me that, you have to look forward to the smaller moments. It can't always be about these big, huge accomplishments. Sometimes it is about these small minutes of your day where things just they are good, and that's what I have to look forward to. And I love that book so much. I love The Midnight Library so much. I read Learn Your Lesson because I loved A Love Letter to Whiskey so damn much, but this one was a little underwhelming. It was a hockey romance, and it was fine. I mean, it felt a little flat. Like I didn't feel like the characters really had much substance, to be honest. It was fine. It was okay. I mean, I think that my favorite by her is still obviously A Love Letter to Whiskey. I don't know if I'll read anything else by Candy Steiner at this point unless it's in line with A Love Letter to Whiskey though. Cuz I could do that again. I think. I don't know. Maybe it's just B and Jamie that have my heart. I also just recently finished Crash. It wasn't bad. It was not bad. I have to admit it was a pretty good time. It was entertaining. I do think it dragged a little bit. It didn't need to be that long. We didn't need to experience so much in the story, but it was good. I enjoyed it. It focuses on a young woman who she has been for some time now dealing with symptoms, and she's been going to doctors, she's been getting blood work done, and they just keep telling her everything's normal. We can't help you. Send you here, we send you there, and nothing works. So she kind of got to the point where she was like, "All right, this is my life. I need to live with whatever this chronic illness is, and I need to just live with it, deal with it." And she runs into her brother's best friend, who happens to be an ER doctor when she has an accident. And he devotes himself to figuring out what's wrong, like what happened to you. And of course, they fall in love, brother's best friend, doctor patient. And I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was entertaining. I did like the romance. I thought it felt natural for the characters and the story and everything. I feel like there were certain parts we took a long time to get through. Didn't really need that much time. They weren't that pivotal to the story for it to require chapters on chapters on chapters, but I did enjoy it ultimately. I don't know that I would read anything else in that series because I think it's like a series of interconnected standalones. I think I'm all set. And then I also did read Among the Burning Flowers, which I did talk about in a vlog, so I won't go super in depth about it, but it was good. I thought it was a fantastic prequel. The writing style took some getting used to, in my opinion, but I did ultimately end up loving it, and I loved Marosa. It's a very short book. I think it's like under 300 pages. I loved her character. I loved her character, and I'm sad because from what I've heard about The Priory of the Orange Tree, which Among the Burning Flowers is a prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree, what I've heard about that bigger book is that it doesn't really focus on Marosa. She's not really a point of view that we see in there. It makes me a little bit sad because I did really enjoy her character. She was empathetic, but she still had this sense of kind of ambition and motivation. She wanted what she wanted, and she mourned the things that she couldn't have because she gave them up for her people, but not in the sense of being a martyr, just in the sense of she had the power to help her people and she chose to do it. I just don't know how soon I'll be reading The Priory of the Orange Tree now that I know that Marosa's not really like a front and center character for that one. I had one of those moments where I just wanted to read something on my Kindle. And I used to do this a ton, especially during COVID when like you couldn't leave the house for anything. Just scroll on KU. You just scroll and you just pick something that speaks to you, whether it's the synopsis or the cover or the title, just pick it. Ooh, I had to resituate myself. Anyways, I ended up reading Stars Above the Never Sea. I fucking loved it. I don't really love nautical stories. I mostly because I don't know how to swim and the water kind of scares me a little bit. I be going deep. When I'm at the beach, I be going deep. But it's like fully knowing that if something were to happen, that's it. It's in God's hands. But I read Stars Above the Never Sea, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. The beginning of it did start a little rocky, and I was like, I don't know if this writing is gonna be for me. The character work in Stars Above the Never Sea was phenomenal. Celine is the FMC. She is the last of her kind, and her land, her homeland, is conquered. It's invaded by another kingdom who's run out of resources. So they come to her homeland and they say, well, we need what you have, and we're going to kill you all. And they kill everybody she knows. Everybody. She's the last one. Her sisters helped her to escape. And she becomes a sex slave. I think that the author handled that concept of slavery, that theme in the story. I think she did a really good job with it. Nothing was glamorized about it. Even though Celine felt a sense of hopelessness because of her situation and how long she had been in that situation, it really did feel like she had that flame, that little flicker of desire in her for freedom. And the moment the door was open, she's like, I don't know if this is going to work. It might not work, but I have to take my shot. And I loved her for it. I loved her for it. But yeah, she gets taken hostage on a ship that's going back to her homeland, which is still conquered. It still has those people on it. And she's another FMC she is mad. She's angry and she wants revenge and she just wants to wipe these people off the face of the earth the way they did to her own people. She realizes that this kingdom isn't full of these bad people. There are just some bad people. And it was just it was honestly beautiful to watch her go through that, to realize that she's going to have to find another way to get what she wants, what she needs. She's going to have to find another way to get rid of this king mostly. That doesn't include wiping out all of these people because it's not all their fault. And it's just wonderful to watch her go through all of that, and she remains empathetic. I just thought she was a beautiful character. She was wonderful. And she still maintains that sense of resiliency and strength, right? Like she knows what she's capable of. She knows that she can do whatever she wants, and she chooses to rein herself in, and she chooses to make the best decisions she possibly can. Oh, there's an ad that scared the crap out of me. Oh, that's the TV. Guys, there's so much going on over here by the computers. Anyways, point is, I need characters that have layers, right? I need characters who learn and grow, and they just can't be stagnant. They can't be stagnant. Stars Above the Never Sea was kind of like the start of a really fantastic reading month, and it's been pretty consistent since then. I've been able to maintain that same energy and enthusiasm that it introduced, and I think it's because I've been very selective about what I'm reading. That was the only book that I didn't have physically, but I had to bring these beauties out. I had to bring these beauties out even though they're not necessary. Now, this one is not fantasy. This is just like a regular contemporary hockey romance. And this is Unravel Me. It's part of the Playing for Keeps series by Becca Mack. I read Consider Me. I read Consider Me a long time ago, and I loved it. I loved it. It's the found family. There's a beautiful, beautiful found family in the story. The banter between the characters, the comedic relief among these heavier topics that we're touching upon. I just loved everything about it. I really, really did. Mind you, and I understand they are thick books for being romances, but I did enjoy it. Now, Unravel Me, I think I enjoyed this even more than I enjoyed Consider Me. I think I did. There is like hidden identity thing going on that does kind of feel drawn out. At one point I was like, okay, we can talk about it now. But at the end of the story, I feel like it came together. So I couldn't say that I didn't love it just because of that one thing. I absolutely love Becca Mack's writing. I love the way that she creates her characters. I love her male main characters. I feel like they are respectful, but they are still they still make what they want known, right? This happened to me last year too. I started the year off in a reading slump, as I always do, and I read the Prison Healer series, and I read the Gear Breakers duology, and I was blown away. This year, I started with Defy the Night. I do not know how to say that last name. I can't say it. I'm not going to try. fantastic. It's about a kingdom that they are dealing with an epidemic, and the only cure to this epidemic is a moonflower elixir. And then, of course, you have a broken class system where the people at the top have entirely too much, more than they can need. It's not even doing anything at that point at the rate they're consuming it. And then you have the people at the bottom who don't get enough, and they're dying, they're sick left and right. Our main character, Tessa, she's an outlaw apothecary, and I fucking love the concept of that. Her and her partner work together to make the moonflower elixir and then disperse it to the people in the slums, basically, the people who don't have access to moonflower when they actually truly need it. And it's a quite a heavy book, despite being YA. I know people tend to think like, oh, it's YA, it's a little bit more. It was quite heavy. There were moments where I did tear up and I did kind of cry because it was sad, and it's dealing with topics and themes that are relevant to the world that we live in right now, unfortunately, like right this second. Very, very relevant. I enjoyed the characters. There was an explosive moment, I think in like chapter 4 or something, chapter 9, I don't even know. It was really early in the book. And then a couple chapters later, there's a plot twist, plot reveal, whatever. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me catch my breath. And I feel like she did a really good job with pacing in that one. I feel like that had the potential to get a little boring because there's not really like a magic going on, it's kind of just the moonflower elixir. But the pacing, being able to have such an explosive moment at the beginning of a book and then carry that momentum throughout the rest of it without it feeling like plot twist after plot twist, I think it worked really well. And I enjoyed it. I liked the writing style. I haven't fully bought into the romance, but I think it's just because of the plot twist or the reveal or whatever you want to call it. I think that I'm sitting back. I'm gonna see how it plays out first because I have my own assumptions and my own feelings about that that love interest, excuse me. But we'll see how it plays out. But I really enjoyed it. I really love Defy the Night. I want to continue with the series soon. Like, no, I don't want to wait a month and a half to finish it. But I do want to finish a series before I do that because so many series you're in the middle of. It's exhausting. But I really, really enjoyed Defy the Night. And then not last but not least, because this I can't say the Midnight Library is my favorite book of the month because it's one of my favorite books, period. But my favorite non-reread of January 2026 was definitely Vesselus. This is fantastic. This was wonderful. I'm definitely in my fantasy romance era, if you like to distinguish the two. This is a fucking good, really fucking good fantasy romance. I think that it has, again, darker topics and themes that the author doesn't just like shove down your throat and say like, this is what's going on, but they're there. You can feel them, you can see them. I think she executes the romance really well. There is a moment at the beginning of this book, it's very beginning, so it's not a spoiler, where the male love interest sees the FMC and he kind of is like, she's so sexy and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, insta lust. But you come to realize that he's not just admiring what she looks like. There is so much more to the character, and he kind of recognizes that immediately. And I do think it is a slow burn. I think it's a slow burn in the sense of like, there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of tension for like this much of the book. And I enjoyed every single moment of it. Again, you have an FMC Nazara. Her father is a general from the Zou kingdom, and they conquered and took over the Czar kingdom, and now her father is king of the Czar kingdom. She doesn't like the way he runs the Czar kingdom. She doesn't like the violence, and she doesn't like the way they treat the lower class people. She pretty immediately, you find out about Nazara that she is a strong woman. She's resilient. She has a untapped amount of power that she's kind of scared to tap into because she doesn't want to become like her dad. But you also realize that like Nazara is gonna at some point have to deal with that amount of power that she holds. My freaking battery died. That was crazy. I was in the middle of talking and it just died on me. Anyways, we were talking about Vesselus. So the magic system in this book is really interesting, and I think the way that the author explains it kind of gradually throughout the book is good. So I'm not going to go too in depth with it because I don't want to spoil how it's executed in the story. But this magic system is kind of like these people are able to bond to souls. These souls grant people certain abilities, I guess, certain power. Her father has like a companion soul, and he forces one upon Nazara when he takes over the Czar kingdom. Um, Immediately, as she's growing up, she realizes, I don't want to be like my dad. I don't want to be like him. I don't want to run the kingdom like him. Anyways, her dad, when he took over the Tsar kingdom, he killed the previous king. And the previous king is a ghost, kind of like he can go between his ghost form and his corporeal form. And yeah, you have that relationship between the two of them going. He's supposed to steal her soul for some like dead god that he works for or something like that. But she has to give it. He can't steal it. She has to give it. I thought it was a wonderful love story. I thought the setting of the story was actually really interesting. It was giving kind of like Greek Roman, old Greek Roman type empires. I don't That's what I was getting from it, at least in my brain. I had a really good reading month, I think, considering that I'm still kind of in the depths of my reading slump. I feel like January was a relatively good reading month. I'm hoping February is even better. I don't really have a TBR for February because I don't do TBRs. We don't do that. I do have a couple of books that I started. I'm in the middle of my reread of To Shape a Dragon's Breath. I should be done with this relatively soon. I think I'm like 60% in. I love the narrator for the audiobook, and I often will find myself just re-listening to it versus like reading it physically again. But I'm hoping to finish this up within like the first week of February because I do want to read To Rise a Rising Storm. To Ride a Rising Storm. That's the second book, and I had pre-ordered my audiobook, so I have it ready to go. Oh, I would like to get to that this month, but we shall see. And then I'm also finishing up Mistborn Era 1 with the Hero of Ages. I'm a little scared. I have cried once already. At the mention of previous characters, I definitely did cry because it just reminded me how much I liked that previous character, but it's fine. And then I will be reading Withering. I don't know why there's a W. I don't know why there's a U instead of an I, but whatever. Those are the only 3 books that I have like queued up, ready to go this month. For sure. I'm already in the middle of them, or like they're ready to go. Like I know I'm reading them because it's a buddy read. Everything else is just up in the air. Let me know what your favorite book of January or December, favorite book of all time is. Let me know if you've read any of the ones I talked about, how if you like them, even if you didn't like them, I still want to talk about it. I want to know why you didn't like it. Tell me, spill the tea, girl. Let me know. But yeah, that's it for my January reading wrap up. I am all done. I'm going to shut up now. They said you talk too much. I will see you guys for the next video, and as always, happy reading.